They call me Squirrel.
What's going on, Squirrel Squad? It's your boy, the Squirrel. I got a nice little lengthy reaction for today. This was sent in to my buddy John over at Free to Wheel. I think since I started the channel, John's been sending me emails from time to time, and always keeps me up to date on some cool and interesting things. And given my recent dive into Open All Hours and getting back into some Ronnie Barker, and especially with the BAFTA stuff, John sent this over and said this is something that I believe just came out recently. Just got posted up maybe recently on YouTube. But we'll see. This is Ronnie Barker, A Life in Comedy, 1997, full episode. This was put out by the BBC, so we'll see what happens. BBC's, they're hit or miss. Sometimes they're like, no. Sometimes they're like, yeah. Sometimes they're like, yeah, you can even make money on it, you know. Sometimes people with big egos give me copyright strikes. Things happen. It's okay. Hey, it's the world of YouTube. What are you going to do, you know? But let's get into some Ronnie Barker. I want to check this out. It is like 25 and a half minutes long or something, so we might as well get right into it. That way we can get going on it anyway, right? So, it's time. It's Ronnie Barker, Life in Comedy. This, I can't wait to just do
it. Good evening. I'm the chairman of the International Society for the Shy and Embarrassed, or SISSY for short.
I never ever enjoyed writing. I was always delighted when the material went well with the audience, but the actual business of getting funny stuff onto the paper in front of me was always painful.
You would never know it.
Cheerfulness is a great asset. But remember that one must never treat a patient's disability too lightly. Remember, the patient is concerned about his ailment, and never subject him to undue pressure.
I wrote under an assumed name because I didn't want people to be embarrassed by having to say, this is no good, and rejecting the stuff. So I called myself Gerald. It worked very well. And then the third week, the director came up to me and said, I don't think this chap has done so well this week. He's let us down a bit this week. And I said, what do you mean? I had to pretend I didn't know what he was talking about. And so we all sat round, Ronnie, Corbett and I and the director, and sat round and read these scripts out loud. And, of course, when he came to the end of it, I said, you're absolutely right, it's all rubbish. And we threw them out, which is exactly what I wanted. Of course, if you're going to write a sketch, you must first have an idea, a situation. Now, this has got to be seen to be funny fairly early on in the sketch, 5 or 6 lines in, something like that.
Evening, Mr. Parson.
Evening, Dolly. Well, how's the beer? Flat as usual.
Now, watch it, Mr. Parson. You'll have to mind your language in here from now on. Look here.
What's a swear box? That's a good idea. Is it for charity?
The church fund. 5p a time.
Oh, you'll make a fortune out of me.
Well, you're right there. You owe me 20p already.
20p?
25 now.
Oh, all right. You got change for a quid?
You won't need much change if you carry on like this.
Oh, that's true, that's true. 2 right, I will. Evening, all. Evening, Joe. Hello, Gilbert. Oh, a bit nippy over there. You're going for a fall of snow. That's all we
I need 20p from you, Mr. Robbins.
Yeah, I got a swear box in here now. Don't worry, have these on me.
When I got my idea, the next thing would be the tag, the last line of the sketch, which has to be the funniest and also round off the sketch.
Good evening, Dolly.
Oh, hello, Vicar.
Good evening, gentlemen. A double lemonade and water, please. I say, the swear box looks mighty full.
Yeah, and Dolly tells us all going to the church. Yeah, that's a nice surprise for you, eh, Vicar?
Surprise? I'm the who thought of it.
If you're lucky, ideas come out of day-to-day situations. And you're very lucky to get 2 ideas in one day. I remember one morning I was sitting reading a local paper, and I said to my wife, "Oh, I see that new building down the road is going to be a hearing aid centre." And she said, "Pardon?" Well, of course, immediately I started writing the hearing aid sketch.
Is this the hearing aid centre?
Pardon?
Is this the hearing aid centre?
Oh, yes, that's right, yes.
I've come to be fitted for a hearing aid.
Pardon?
I've come to be fitted for a hearing aid.
Oh, do sit down, would you? I'll just take a few details. Name?
Pardon?
Name?
Crampton.
Pardon?
Crampton.
Oh, Crampton.
Pardon?
I said Crampton.
The only other way to get laughs if you haven't got a funny situation is to have funny characteristics or ways of speaking.
Ah, good evening.
Good evening.
Tickle your body with a feather tonight.
I beg your pardon.
Is it particularly grotty weather tonight?
Oh, yes.
I say, that sweater looks a little risky.
Pardon?
I say, I better have a little whiskey.
Oh, yes, of course. I thought you said something about my jumper.
No, that's very nice.
Oh, thank you.
Mustn't get hiccups or they'll fall out.
What did you say?
I just heard the cricket score. They're all out. Now, who's this silly arse with an ugly dog?
I mean, I've used this term probably 100 times talking about Ronnie Barker. Just a wordsmith, you know, he really was amazing.
Daughter.
I beg your pardon?
I say, would you kindly pass the jug of water?
Hello.
Hello. Swedish.
Hello.
Hello.
F-U-N-E-X.
S-B-F-X.
F-U-N-E-M.
9.
I-F-C-D-M.
V-F and 10-E-M.
BFM.
Ah.
Oh.
Oh, hello, Bert. What are you going to have?
That was very kind. I'll have a pint of...
What, pint of mild?
No, a pint...
Pint of bitter?
No, a pint of...
Mild and bitter? What?
No, a pint of shandy.
Oh, pint of shandy. Pint of shandy, Jack, will you? I haven't seen you there lately.
No, as a matter of fact, I've been off...
Off on holiday, have you?
No, off...
Off beer, have you? What?
No, off colour.
Oh, off colour. What's been the matter with you, then?
Well, it happened at work. I got these strange feelings in my...
In your stomach?
No, in my...
What, in your back?
No, in my...
In your side?
No, my...
In your backside?
No, in my lunch hour.
Oh,
I've always been fascinated by the English language, funny-sounding words, mispronunciation.
I'm squeaking to you tonight, once again, as the chairman for the Loyal Society for the Prevention of Mispronunciation. A society formed to help people who can't say their worms correctly. I myself often use the wrong worms, and that is why I was erected charming of the society. Firstly, let me try and put you in the puncture regarding our mumblers.
He was erected.
Each and every plum of them have difficulty in conversing with the people they meet in everyday loaf. They're merkwaits at the fig tree or the orifice, or even in their own holes, min and woof, sather and fun, bruzzer and thistle. Unable to communicate. Oh, this can be an enormous bandage up to our tremblers at all times, especially at bismuth time, because bismuth is a season of grease on earth and pig swill to all men. When the family all get together to eat, drunk and be messy.
Similar sounding words that lead to misunderstanding.
Are you all right, sir? Of course I'm not all right. I'm shot. Well, it is, sir. I'm hot too, sir. Sir,
Oh, never
shall I get the stretcher bearer, sir?
No, it's too late for that. Just go and let me die in peace.
Do you want any gravy, sir? Gravy? Any gravy on your pie and peas, sir?
I did a sketch called Cheers about a chap who had a few already, and he couldn't work out the order he was supposed to be giving. He had a big crowd, and he couldn't remember what the order was.
Good evening.
What would you like?
Well, to start with, I'll have a large gin tonic.
So,
Very large.
ice and lemon, sir?
Yeah, if there's room in the glass, yes.
And
What else, sir?
Well, as a matter of fact, I've just met these people. See, I don't know them at all. They're all friends of my wife, you see. So now let's see. The lady in the sack dress wants an enormous brandy. The young man with a flat head wants a rum and coke. Andy, he's the tall chap. He's Scottish. He wants a pink gin with lemon. The girl with the boobs wants a white lady. My wife will have a Scotch on the rocks. The woman with the bare arms behind her, she will have half a bottle of the house wine. And the old man with the rather shifty eyes, he'll have a rough cider. But before that, I'll have another gin and tonic.
Yes, sir.
Oh. Beautiful. So, right, so that's an enormous brandy, rum and coke, a pink gin, white scotch, a wine, a cider, and a lemon on the rocks.
Pardon, sir?
Look, the lady in the sack dress, brandy. See? The flathead, rum and coke, the Scotsman behind, the white gin. The lady with the pink boobs, a cider, just a minute.
And 5 gin and tonics later, he still couldn't get it right.
Now, are you listening? It's simple. Simple. I'll have a gin and tonic.
I've got one ready for you.
Oh, thank you. Either one of these, is it?
Yes, sir.
Oh, thank you. Why don't you have a beer?
No, thank you, sir.
Right, now, I do exactly what I'm doing, all right? Here goes. The randy girl with a big bottle wants a rough Scotsman. Rough Scotsman. The tall lemon wants a double shifty on the rocks. The bare woman with the boobs like the side of a house wants a pink old man. The normal chap with the flat gin wants my wife with the beer behind. And the white lady wants a sack of coke. It's simple enough. What are you having?
Me and Mrs. Higginbottom come here every morning to look after the band. Scrub the stage and empty out the kettle drums and polish them down the stand.
Rain or shine, we're always at the ready and we're never lackadaisical or hateful. Where else could you meet so many fellas? We are just a pair of scrubbers who are grateful.
Look at them, they look so charming.
Some of them are quite alarming when they play their obligato.
Half of them are pizzicato.
One of the areas I enjoyed most was writing song lyrics.
Yeah.
I used to love that.
I bet.
Musical items we did. Sometimes I would write a tune myself, but usually we used standard tunes that were out of copyright, and I wrote words to them.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound she played upon a whistle to show you how she charged a pound behind the dog and thistle.
It was a great challenge to write some of the songs because when you're writing to lyrics, you've not only got to you've got to rhyme it, and the meter's got to be exactly right, but also you've got to get the jokes in, and the jokes have to be at the end of the line, and they have to be in exactly the right number of syllables.
That's a good point.
Have you heard about young Manly Effie and your dinner dance?
Hurry up and tell me what?
Someone laced the punch with brandy and she never stood the chance.
Drunk she got, silly clot.
Lost an earring in a fight.
That's not all she lost that night. A policeman, so they say, found her knickers a mile away. On someone's barrow, round a marrow, not half a crown. Hurry, I've got to go and cook a flan. My husband Keith has lost his teeth, he flushed them down the pan.
I'll speak to Anne, her husband Dan's a sanitary man. You never know where they may turn up. In the merry months of
They gave us a chance to appear with marching bands or groups of people, singers and things. We'd all march around with them and then suddenly come to a halt and they'd all stop and mark time or whatever while we did jokey words to the tunes.
Tell me how's your love life, Jack?
full of the joys of spring, mate.
Is it still that 6-foot brunette, the one with the enormous?
An Like a bed is what you make it, as long as you take it lying down.
Somebody has to, somebody has to. Nobody wants a mucky job, but someone must go through it. Somebody's got to lift it, shovel it up and shift it, sweep it and scrape it, squash it and shape it, kick it around and try to get rid of it, keeping it nice and tidy, so long as we're paid on Friday. What's the point in making a lot of fuss?
Is that a TARDIS behind what I just saw? I think it was.
Though we may all poo-poo it, somebody has to do it, and somebody's decided that it's us.
But I think my favourite set of lyrics ever were the Morris dances, when the chorus only repeated half the words that the soloist had just sung.
Now Bolsa John, he met a maid as on her back she lay. Please show respect and come not near, for I've seen many a maiden here get lost among the new mown hay. So doff your hat, I pray.
Get lost, get lost, get lost, get lost, get lost
among the new mown hay.
So doff, so doff, so doff, so doff, so
doff your hat, I pray. When Bolsa John returned home, they gave him gin to try. Nay, fill me not with liquor up, nor give me grain nor grape to sup. Poor cow slips dew into my cup, a Puritan am I.
Poor cow, poor cow, poor cow, poor cow, poor cow
slips dew into my cup.
Up you, up you, up you, up you, up you, Puritan am I. Poor cow, poor cow, poor cow, poor cow, poor cow
slips dew into my cup.
Up you, up you, up you, up you, up you, Puritan am I.
I've always collected old books, and whenever I've seen an old joke book in a shop, I've always bought it. And some of the gags in there, although they're very old, they're very, very funny. Some of them, not all. And I suddenly thought, why don't I use these? Now, someone wrote a sketch about two yokels, two daft idiots, and I thought these would be marvellous to do these old jokes. Yeah. So I literally cut up the books. I just cut through them and laid them all out on paper and stuck them down with sellotape, and in between wrote linking lines, and it worked a treat. You got a lot of laughs.
Nice weather we're having, ain't it?
I don't know, I just come out.
What kind of weather you get over your way, then?
Well, it starts off in the morning. Then either it rains or it gets dark before nightfall. then I has me supper.
Oh, yeah. What do you ask for your supper, then?
Pie.
Oh.
Yeah. If I'm hungry, I'll get a big pie, and I cut it into 4 pieces, and I eat all 4 pieces. If I'm not so hungry, I only cut it into 2 pieces.
Right from the start of the two Ronnies, we had a serial episode in each show, which I scripted. The first one, in a world run by women, where men played the subservient role and had to wear dresses.
You have 2 minutes to live, both of you. Is there anything either of you want to say?
The worm that turned.
There's something I'd like to say. Something which I know men all over England would like to say to you. Whoever they are, wherever they may be. The rich man in his mansion, the poor man in his lowly cottage. I know I speak for all of them when I say...
I only ever wrote 2 situation comedies. One was called His Lordship Entertains, which I call Fawlty Towers Mark 1, because it was about a dotty old fool running a hotel. Josephine Tewson and David Jason, among others, were in it with me. Unfortunately, someone at the BBC couldn't have liked it very much, because not a trace of it remains in the archives. The other sitcom was Clarence, of course, written under another pseudonym, again with Josephine Tewson, who was marvellous to act with.
You give us a kiss. You never kissed me properly, you know.
There's more tongue if you want it.
That was a short series, but we did it over on Patreon, and I loved it. I thought it was like 6 episodes. That was it, but these two were fun together.
Cold tongue.
If I had to say which were my favourite pieces of the ones that I'd written, I think two of them certainly would be vicars. One of them was a vicar in a pulpit based on the number called Trouble, which was in Music Man. And the other, of course, was the rhyming slang vicar.
I want to tell you a story.
Yep.
A long time ago, in the days of the Israelites, there lived a poor man. He had no trouble and strife. She had run off with a tea leaf some years before, and he now lived with his eldest bricks and mortar, Mary. And being very short of bees and honey, unable to pay the burden on Trent, he was tempted to go forth into the Bristol city and see what he could half-inch. He would say to Mary, his bricks and mortar, "I will take a ball of chalk into the town and buy some tobacco for my cherry ripe." And he would put on his almond rocks and his dicky dirt and his round the houses and set off down the Frog and Toad until he reached the outskirts of the Bristol. And people would stare at him, for his dicky dirt was torn. His howdy-doos were full of holes. And his coat was very Westminster Abbey.
There was the amateur play when the local butcher had to take over at a moment's notice the part of the juvenile lead, and he read the script.
Oh, how radiant you look, Snithier. I could sing your praises forever. I don't know where to start. Turn over. What a curious expression, Snithier. What are you thinking?
It mustn't happen. It can't happen. Not this way. But it must. It must. I don't care about the world. Kiss me.
Then there was the politician who was desperately trying to read the autocue.
The Ministry of Communicas? Communicas? Communications cannot be compared with, I mean, it's nothing like a water closet, Watergate. As the ministry himself said, we don't want any bugs in this ministry. I'm the only big bug around here.
One sketch, of course, I can't leave out, was the most popular sketch we ever did. We had loads of letters about it, and that was the hardware shop. 4 candles.
4 candles. 4 candles.
No. Handles for forks.
Here you are. 4 candles. No, 4 candles. Well, there you are, 4 candles. No, 4 candles. Handles for forks. Got any plugs? Plugs? Yeah. What kind of plugs? A rubber one, bathroom.
I love the old shop. I love it.
What size? 13 amp.
And finally, a very daft, black and white, scratchy old bit of film in which a fat fool sings a Ruritanian number called Life's Highway. What an idiot.
So long as the grass is growing, there's no point in knowing, no fear. Don't let trouble come to mind. Stay fit and fancy free. Leave your worries far behind you. Take a hop and a skip on a jump.
Good.
Like me.
I did say I found it very painful to write, but I think it was worth the pain. People have told me it was worth your pain.
Comedy with Gary Olsen next on BBC One, upsetting the status quo at Pilgrim's Rest.
Well, that seems to be the end of A Life in Comedy with Ronnie Barker. It was really good. It was such a great trip down memory lane for me. So many great, amazing sketches these guys have done together. Ronnie talked a little bit about some different things that he has done throughout his career, what some of his favorites were. A lot of Two Ronnie stuff, a lot of that, you know. I kind of thought this was going to be more like other people talking about him too, but I was very happy with what we got. I mean, we got a solid like 22 or 23 minutes of great Ronnie memories by himself or in the Two Ronnie's capacity or in one of the shows, and just really, really lovely piece. So rest easy, man. I know you've been gone for a long time, Ronnie, but you're still a legend amongst all of us, you know. So yeah, that was really cool, man. John, thanks for sharing that, bro. I appreciate it. Hopefully it gets to the sniff test. I hope you guys enjoy it. I did a little wardrobe switch halfway through the video. Hope you enjoyed that. Of course, an edit's not going to make a difference. You're not even going to know it was there. Maybe it will. I don't know. Squirrel out.